the Fond du Lac Ojibwe School's path to incorporating and connecting fresh, locally sourced, and culturally relevant foods in the school cafeteria.
My name is Michelle Hamski, and I will be representing the Fond du Lac Ojibwe School's Harvest of the Month, Farm to School, and School Nutrition Program teams to tell you about our path to incorporating and connecting fresh, locally sourced, and culturally relevant foods into the school cafeteria. The Fond du Lac Ojibwe School is a K-12 tribal school located on the Fond du Lac Reservation in Cloquet, Minnesota. Our school has about 150 to 200 students throughout the school year. Our start with using locally sourced foods began with the Bamaji Iduin Ojibwe School Garden. This garden is run with the help of the Fond du Lac Tribal and Community College's 13 Moons Extension Program. Our school nutrition team began receiving fresh produce that was grown in this garden to use within the school. In 2019, the Fond du Lac Reservation created a community farm, Gitaganing, which is managed by the newly organized Fond du Lac Agricultural Division. Gitaganing is located 7 miles from the school and has gardens that are run by Fond du Lac community members. It has a cannery and kitchen facility, a butchering facility, a root cellar, and a grow dome to grow produce throughout the year. All of the produce we receive from both the Ojibwe School Garden and Gitaganing were donated to the school. For the fall 2022 harvest, these programs donated over 1,500 pounds of produce for us to use at the school. We've been so impressed by the quality and freshness of the items that we were receiving. We wanted to see if there was funding for us to help support these producers and maintain this level of quality. We applied for the Minnesota Department of Agriculture and Education Harvest of the Month 2021 pilot program. We were one of 15 schools in Minnesota accepted to participate. The focus of Harvest of the Month is to incorporate and celebrate in-season locally grown food items in Minnesota schools. As part of the pilot program, we participated in monthly meetings to discuss things that are going well, challenges, and suggestions for the launch of the Harvest of the Month statewide. Through Harvest of the Month, we've hosted several events for families and students to attend. During COVID, our students were distance learning, and our team made a video of Mace, our kitchen supervisor, making a roasted pumpkin and maple syrup recipe. Our educator, John, sent these videos out to students to watch online. And then that same day, we sent the roasted pumpkin home to students to have for lunch, and each family received a pumpkin to make the recipe as well. Those were donated by Erica and the Bamaji Iduin Producer Program. In the spring, we had a field trip out to Gitaganing for the students to tour. They participated in a planting activity as well as tasting of some locally sourced cheese and bison sticks. In the fall, we had a follow-up field trip to the farm for students to see the gardens in full bloom. They were able to harvest carrots, participate in a corn shucking contest, and a tasting of roasted carrots and zucchini fries. When students returned to in-person classroom learning, the Harvest of the Month team did an educational lesson on planting microgreens. All students got to plant their own microgreens, and about 2 weeks later, they were able to harvest from their own plants and put them on their salads that were served that day. We've also had more tastings that were held in the classrooms. Students have loved the opportunity to try new foods outside the cafeteria and give us their sometimes very honest feedback. Throughout Harvest of the Month, we still wanted to find funding to support local fresh items in the cafeteria and school. We applied for and were awarded a MDA, Minnesota Department of Agriculture, full tray farm to school grant starting in 2022. The requirement of this grant is that all funds must be spent on food items produced in Minnesota. Initially, we focused our budget on the Minnesota Harvest of the Month foods, but then decided to shift that focus to using the funds to purchase more culturally relevant foods, as well as supporting Native American farmers in our area. We moved some of the funding that we had originally planned for beef to bison and made an effort to purchase hydroponic produce from a tribal member because of the outstanding quality of the spring mix that she was growing. In 2023, we received another full tray grant and have continued to prioritize the purchasing of bison, wild rice, and other fresh produce from Native American producers. In October, we have our annual school powwow, And last year, almost our entire menu contained items sourced in Minnesota. For Native American Heritage Month, we highlighted and served a bison fry bread taco, Three Sisters chili, venison tips over mashed potatoes, turkey wild rice meatballs, roasted squash, and baked walleye. On our monthly menus, we do highlight our Harvest of the Month and Farm to School items with different fonts, colors, to bring awareness of our efforts of using Minnesota products. On those days, we also post educational information in the cafeteria. This includes the Ojibwe translation of the food, a picture of the food item, facts about the food item, a map of Minnesota showing where the food is purchased from, and there's a logo of the vendor as well, and where it is located within our school menu. Moving forward, we hope to continue to partner with different programs in the community and on the reservation who have already helped support our farm to school efforts. Our Fond du Lac Community Clinic has paid for some trainings for our school staff from the Good Acre, and they have also supported the school in the Great Lakes Great Apple Crunch, which is a date set in October for schools across the Midwest to participate in taking a bite out of an apple at the same time to kick off Farm to School Month. The clinic, along with our Fond du Lac Natural Resources, had helped the school obtain venison for Native American Heritage Month. Natural Resources donated 5 deer tags for community members to hunt for the school, and the clinic paid for processing of the deer from a local USDA-approved facility. This year, we opened up our school year with a back-to-school barbecue where all of the fresh vegetables were locally sourced, and the clinic, the community clinic, paid for students to participate in a goat yoga activity. The connections we have made through our Harvest of the Month and Farm to School programs are expanding beyond the cafeteria and are helping shape overall school wellness. Thank you.